Hello everyone, and welcome to our game of World of Warships. Today's replay is from Admiral Kutuzov, and he's in Yamato, the tier 10 Japanese battleship. He is on-map sleeping giant in a 4-point domination game. It's obviously a tier 10 game. There is one destroyer per team, there is one carrier per team, and it looks like the enemy team only has one raider. Now the raider is that Baltimore there, and it's on the same flank as the friendly destroyer, but it looks like the Baltimore is going down pretty fast. Now the friendly destroyer didn't charge into the Baltimore, is probably a wise move. But now with the Baltimore gone, that might open up the Aetam. Now also our Yamato here. The replay didn't actually start at the beginning of the match, but basically like 1.5 minutes in already, so I assume he might have had connection issues. Now the left flank was calling for help, also the left flank needs help more badly, so he immediately went this way. But he is a little bit delayed and a little bit behind his friendly battleships because of that. But he is almost arrived. Now on the right side we have the enemy destroyer, but we have two friendly raiders. Now the bad thing is there are islands in the decap that will probably keep the destroyer safe, like the friendly team would have to flank pretty far on the right to get shots at the gearing, I assume. So I don't think they can stop the gearing from taking this cap necessarily. I mean, they could push in aggressively because the enemy team doesn't have too many ships here, and with the two raiders they can easily fight off the gearing. So if and I mean they have the Bismarck Hydro, this is an opportunity where I think they could be rather aggressive. Now here on the left flank the battleships have taken quite a bit of a beating already. But they are doing their job, they are tanking, and I mean they are not pushing against the enemy force here, because there's quite a few enemies around. Now I'd say I think the Harugumo is now going to enter the A-cap, because, well, with the Baltimore gone there's really nothing stopping him from doing that. Now the friendlies are reversing, I assume, because, well, they definitely don't want to get closer considering the amount of health they've left. Ideally those ships would manage to disengage and then heal up. Now, our Yamato has finally arrived, and he is obviously just going to continue going forward. Now, in an ideal world, the enemy will stop shooting those battleships and they will start focusing on the Yamato, and that might actually happen if he gets in front of his allies here. Because sometimes enemies just shoot what's closest to them, not necessarily what they could shoot. Well, I mean, low health ships are also tempting targets. Yes, we will find out. It's also possible that the friendly ships will be able to drop into concealment or reverse behind this island. Because the enemy positioning isn't so great either. I guess they are afraid of the Harugumo, that's why they're not pushing in. I don't know. I mean, going broadside is probably not the solution to the enemy's problems. Now on the right side, the enemy team managed to get the cap, as I was afraid they would, because they had the destroyer there. And the friendly raider just, I mean, seeing a destroyer is one thing, you also need firing angles at him. And I'm not sure why the Hindenburg and the Yamagi are so passive. It looks like the one battleship, I think it was a Bismarck, tried to be aggressive, but he didn't really get the support he needed, so he just went down. But hey, on this flank they got the cap. Now all they need to do is stick in and survive. And Admiral Kutuzov is doing exactly that. He is using this island here as some cover. He's going to beach himself here shortly, but it doesn't really matter. What he needs is, he needs as much cover as possible from part of the ships and then farm those ships that are that he can shoot. So now he can engage the Henry. I think it's pronounced Henri or something like that in French. But I probably stick to Henry because I know how to say that word. Anyway, so he can engage the Henry and he can possibly engage the Roma. Now he is reversing here, maybe trying to even get his rear guns firing. And he'll take the enemy one ship at a time if possible. Like, Yamato, the Republic and the Sao are not in the best of positions to shoot him, and they probably also can't shoot the Montana behind him very well. So while the enemy team is still scrambling to get into better positions here, friendlies might use this opportunity to sink something. Now Harugumo is coming in here with a smoke and, well, going for some good old pew-pew. Now the Harugumo has a problem. He can't really leave the cap on this side because we have the Yamato sitting right there. So as soon as the Harugumo sails, well, outside of active islands, he will be immediately spotted and probably be focused by basically the entirety of the enemy team on this side. So leaving the cap towards the left is not well, I mean, he could probably with a smoke. Oh, look at that. The enemy Yamato is peeking. Not a good choice on his part. Like, this is this is an invitation to get Citadel if I've ever seen one. So 3.6 kilometers and it's happened. That was disappointing. Like, he could have easily, well, I could have probably even sunk the Yamato if he got lucky with his shells. But instead he got, what, like 6-7k damage. And Harugumo chose the wrong time to sail forward, I guess, considering the top, but definitely not the best choice to leave the cap on this side. I can understand, like, going through the other side takes a lot of time. If he wants to engage this enemy battle group here, if it left through the other side, he'd have sailed quite a while until he got into position to do something. I guess he could have also just tried to hunt down the gearing or something, but you know, the Harugumo's fate here was kind of expected. The moment he left, he was detected. There are 5 enemy ships that can shoot him, and they probably will. And the Yamato is so close that it will take the Harugumo a while to actually get away. Meanwhile, Admiral Kutuzov got a nice little citadel there and sunk his first ship. He's still just sitting here and basically defending this cap, right? He's stopping the enemy from pushing in here, and that's all he has to do. And as I said, the enemy positioning isn't ideal. Like, half of the time the ships can't actually fire. I mean, as I said, I don't know how many ships had shots at the Montana. Maybe they get in some long-range fire somewhere. And maybe the Yamato is going to peek again. But since the Yamato is undecided, let's just go for a Roma. And, well, I guess that's alright, especially considering the dispersion wasn't so nice. Meanwhile, friendly carrier actually keeping that gearing spotted, that's nice. He might be able to even sink the gearing or something. Friendlies control the right flank, and the ships that have been very passive are finally moving forward. They should have done so a while ago. Ship-wise, it's pretty even. And look at that. Now the Yamato is making a move. Maybe he was waiting for Kutuzov to fire his guns. He came around, he knew that he can overmatch the bow, and that did hurt, but it wasn't enough to actually sink Admiral Kutuzov here. And look at that, the Republic is just going for it. He could have tried to go for sail-by citadels or something. He just went for the ram. And I think that might actually have been enough to help win this fight here. Now Admiral Kutuzov is reversing, he doesn't want to get rammed by the Roma. He still has quite a bit of health left, the Roma obviously can't overmatch him or anything. So let's see. And there you go. Yamato does what Yamato does best, it's overmatching bows of ships that are getting too close, I suppose. So, friendlies have a huge points lead by now, which is amazing. Ship-wise, the enemy team is still in this though. But the enemy team is not really in a position to actually take back the caps. And even if, well, I mean, they're also ship-wise not in the best spot, I guess. If the enemy could, like, sink 2 or 3 ships and then push a cap, maybe they'll have a chance. I guess we'll find out. Like, for example, this witch here is on its own, rather, there in the center. I don't know how healthy the Sao is, and how healthy are the Elas over there? Well, well, obviously the Amaki is still pretty healthy. I mean, he's a... And the Hindenburg is also a... Like, at least the Hindenburg is... Well, he's pushing a bit more than the Yamaki now, but the Yamaki and the Hindenburg have been sitting way too far in the back for quite a while, I feel. So enemy Sao also seems quite healthy. Now while the ship odds are still something the enemy could turn around, I feel like they'd have to make a much more aggressive move. I mean, the friendlies are now even inside the B camp. Although this witch here is probably going down soon. And again, so is the hand. Now the question is, did he get torps off? I don't think he quite had an angle for that. Now the Yamato has awesome torpedo protection, but he's also on pretty low health. And there are the torps, but he's easily dodging them. Now the carrier is also interested, it looks like. I think that carrier wasn't even moving, but he certainly is moving now. So, between the carrier and the Sao, I would say the Sao is the bigger threat. So it would probably pay off to focus on the Sao here. Then again, the carrier is getting on slow. And you see, ship-wise, it's almost equalized again. Well, carrier is still floating. Sao is showing broadside. The Sao is torpedoing here. Admiral Kutuzov is at his last heal, but it's not like the battle is going that much longer. And look at that, the Sao just continues to show broadside, and dispersion did not disappoint this time. So, the only thing, well, I mean, there is still another Sao over there. And there is the Shukaku, but considering the amount of points, as soon as they sink the Shukaku, the friendlies will just win. And can he get the kill? Yes, he can. He even waited for his secondaries to finish. And here we are with the results. Admiral Kutuzov earned himself 2,617 base experience. And nicely done by him, he basically just went towards the flank that needed him, sat in the front line, held the line until the enemy collapsed and then, well, pushed into the last remaining force. He earned himself that devastating strike, a close quarters expert, the dreadnought, the Kraken, and the fireproof. So yeah, he scored almost 200,000 points of damage. I hope you enjoyed watching this, and I'll see you guys next time.